Does he have anything in common with Eobard?
Yeah, I mean, for example...
He's a lot more handsome than Eobard.
Well, he's in a different place, just like Eobard was. Same time, but a different place. So his home is somewhere else.
Correct. Yes, so that answers the question. He does have something in common with Eobard. He also, like Eobard, again, is extremely handsome character, and like Eobard, he's multifaceted. There's a bunch of layers. One of the great things about last year was, all the levels. And Berlanti and I, you guys know who Berlanti is when I say that, right?
Yes. The man who controls TV.
Yeah.
Hollywood showrunner Greg Berlanti, Golden Boy. I was talking to. I'm not going to tell you that story. It involves. If you guys interview Michael Gasson anytime soon on Blind Spot, you can ask him what Tom Cavanagh and he were talking about. The stuff, the gist of it is that we all think he's tremendous. If Hollywood is going to be run by one man, thank God it's that guy. He's tremendous. He's a good person who his success has not changed his perspective on how to treat people. And that's, I think, saying a lot for any business, and perhaps in particular this one. So I think the world of Greg. And we were talking about how last year as the Reverse Flash, I never lied. It was my mission to not lie to Barry, to not purposely lead him astray, to keep things from him that could be damaging or would spin him off in a direction. And we had that conversation on episode 7. Because it came up that in one of the writers' drafts, I was, just directly lying to him about what was happening. I was like, that's not necessary. They've had this relationship for 15 years. It would be amazing if, he'd been able to marshal all this time with this person and treat him respectfully, or as respectfully as he could. So in terms of, that was a nice little twist, which I don't think a lot of people were up on. And we had the same thing going in a different way, which I won't reveal, but those attentive will kind of see it. And it all involves the mission that I'm on, much as last year was on a pretty momentous mission. It's momentous for the show, not trying to be self-serving. But this year is similar, and it's fun, and I think it's going to be visually fun to see, perhaps even more so in the earlier stages than last season was, which is saying a lot. But visually, I think that will hold true.
Last year, you, or Wells, had to kind of hide his evil intentions behind a veneer of kindness.
Uh-huh.
The guys earlier had said that Harrison's kind of a dick this year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that you're getting to play a different kind of antagonist?
Well, it wasn't written that way, and that's how I decided to do it, because I think it wasn't anybody's fault that it wasn't written that way, but the vestiges of how I played the character last year were, still present in everybody's mind, and the synapses were firing the same way. Well, we'll just write him this way because he looks the same way and all this kind of stuff. And it was like, this seemed to me to be a massive opportunity to turn the tables. Like Harrison Wells, Eobard as Harrison last year was, there was a certain intelligence and charm and mannered way to him, thoughtfulness. And I think the expectation was that this same person coming from Earth 2 would be like that. And my thought was, why? And if he's much more brusque and arrogant and generates conflict, then I think all the better for the show and all the better for me to play that. So he I would like to say it'll be up to yourselves and the viewers to decide, but I think there's quite an apparent difference and I think necessarily there should be. You know, I also think, given, you know, the people that do watch this show, I think, and how passionate they are, I think there's going to be a lot of vitriol directed my way this season, and I think that's fine. But I think early on, you know, we all have aligned ourselves with the winning ways of a number of the leads. You know, I think Carlos is, you know, tremendous, and Danielle is tremendous, and Grant is tremendous, and you know, Jesse, Candace. I think they all have earned. In terms of like when you watch a show, you know, a character has to come in there and earn something. And unlike movies, we get to put in hours and hours and hours with you, you know, and along the way we get to earn some things. It's very difficult for someone to do on a 30-minute arc in a 2-hour movie. But over the course of 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 hours, we get to earn some stuff. And I think those people have all earned, you know, the people that have aligned themselves with those characters, they've earned it, and they should have those bonds. And so when a basic stranger comes in and, you know, starts trying to break those bonds or trash talking, I think they should direct their anger and vitriol at him, and that'll be me, I think, for the at least for the earlier stages. I will say this much as the 15 years, everything that, the nice thing that the writers did last year is everything that Eobard did was justified. He had his plan. He completely believed in his plan, and the character that I'm playing this year is similarly committed. You can use similarly committed and do what you will with that. That was a long-winded answer to one question. Go ahead.
What is his take on the Star Labs team? And they understandably have feelings about him, but since he's presumably coming in fresh to them, what is his take on them and what they're doing?
I think you'll see really early on what their take is. I don't want to spoil like the early on where we have that kind of Star Labs introduction. I think it's it'd be a disservice, but it'll be readily apparent what he thinks of them. His ego is not lacking. Let me put it that way. You know, his confidence in his own abilities. I think last year, Eobard imitating Harrison, the deceased Harrison Wells, had the perspective to see intelligence across the board, and you know, knowing he was going to be there for a while and to implement his plan, you know, realize that these people were allies, and that their intelligence was helpful, and that, you know, we would defeat these, we would overcome these obstacles together. I think the current character is a lot less about togetherness.
What are you looking forward to with the?
Oh, we can go for a bit. I'm fine. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to with the crossover? Does Harrison get to play a big role in it?
I don't know. You know, for me, when I attack the storylines and the scripts, unfortunately, I know the crossover is really big. I think for the outside, but for me internally, it's just another script. So it's a story that we're telling just like every other script. So it's you know, Harrison is involved, but 209 is no different to me than 210 or 208, 207. Yeah.
Is your character going to run into any legal problems after the first Harrison Wells kind of confessed to a murder in the season premiere?
Listen. Did everybody get that? Because that's a tremendous question. First off, come on ahead and write for the Flash if you'd like, because that's great. I think it's a tremendous question. I don't know that we're as far ahead as you are. Diplomatically choosing words, but I would like that question noted, because that's just great. Yeah.
We know that Jay has a relationship with Zoom from Earth 2. He's his arch rival, but what does Harrison know of Zoom?
Yes. You're right. What does Harrison know of Zoom? There I was the other day, and I was opening a big can of worms, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
Care to elaborate?
Well, what can you tell us about Harrison and Jay? Because I mean, when we spoke to Teddy earlier, he says they are aware of each other, they know each other.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these are, much as we, in the same way we had a push me pull you relationship last year between the Flash and Harrison. We have. I don't know if the word similar applies, but we certainly do have a relationship. You've taken two of the greatest personalities, or greatest is a amorphous word, but two of the larger personalities from Earth 1, you put them together, and in this season you've taken two of the larger personalities from Earth 2 and put them together. It would be insane, and it would be, I think, structurally irresponsible to not carve out storylines there, which we have in abundance. I think it's a masterful stroke personally. This is just my own personal opinion. Introducing, as we did in 23 and then explored it in this season, are exploring this season, Jay Garrick. I think that's just great, and so our urging is for them to continue. The viewers won't be disappointed in terms of, and I think as actors we've sort of escalated in there, and I won't give away what that is, but again, like the initial thing I said, I think the more conflict that you have to overcome when you're telling a superhero story, the better.
We've already established that Harrison Wells from Earth 2 doesn't ingratiate himself to Team Flash. Are there any characters with which he does find a more positive connection?
It's not necessarily that, he doesn't ingratiate himself, but the nice thing is like, imagine you're cast off into space, and you've got these are your 6 bedfellows, and it doesn't matter, you're in this together, there's goals that we have to attain. We don't like each other, but everybody knows that we have to achieve these goals, or everybody is in big trouble. I wouldn't say that, this isn't one of those things where they're all jack wagons, but he's okay. Harrison's worldview is I think Harrison is a intelligent character the way it's been laid out, but his scope is extremely narrow.
Some of the other actors are saying that they aren't told anything about what's coming up, but how much have you known sort of going through it? Like with season 1, did you know that you were Eobard in the person suit of Harrison Wells, and how early do you know things? And did you know you were coming back for season 2?
Oh yeah, last year, I signed on when Greg and Andrew and I had a discussion about being the villain. Berlanti, again, I've done, this is my 3rd show with him, and he's every time carved out unexpected roles, and that pitch was easy to listen to, because it was essentially, okay, you're the villain, and he. So the answer, I guess, to that is I knew, and I think I don't want to make it sound like, oh, I know. I think some of the actors. Well, I don't think it really matters. But yes, I knew last year, and I know this year. I knew I was coming back, and yep. I guess I feel like I've answered that question, I guess. Yeah.
Do you miss the Reverse Flash suit?
I sort of approach all of everything I do from the perspective of that suit. So I would say that if you're How about this? I like being in the suit. Is that anything? Yeah.
Do you want to be in another one?
Do I want to be in again?
Yeah.
Would you like a blue suit?
Like, do you want to be in a black version?
Well, I don't know if want is the, I don't know if want applies here. There's clearly, you know, I like when I play, you know, signing on to do this role, and when I played the stuff last year, the joyous thing was having, you know, leaving alone the suit. The suit is cool. I always like being in the suit, and you know, but playing two different levels, you know, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily duplicitous, but having everything operate on a couple of levels is the thing that I enjoy, and I don't think that's any different this year.